Alright, so let's talk about this upcoming Reboot van and how exactly it works. As most of you should be aware by now, the Reboot van was leaked in the game files shortly after Apex Legends came out. And of course, that game also had a respawn system. And now we finally have confirmation that the Reboot van is coming out in the next update. So as you can see here, this is what it looks like. And according to the developers, it'll be in every point of interest on the map. Now they don't mention if there's going to be some scattered in unnamed locations, but it doesn't really sound like there will be. So if you played Apex Legends, it works very similar to that game. If you or your teammate bites the dust, you'll drop an item called a Reboot card. And as you can see here, it's like a computer chip of sorts. Now one thing to note is that it doesn't appear to take up an inventory slot, just like in Apex Legends. Once you pick it up, it just goes straight to your character, but it won't fill one of your 5 slots. So another thing to note is that only one person has to grab the Reboot card itself, and then any of your teammates can revive the teammate. So for example, let's say you're in a squads game and only one of your teammates gets killed and finished. If you're in Tilted Towers and you grab his card, your other teammate who is in Paradise Palms can then go up to a Reboot van and respawn him in. Only one of your teammate has to have the card, and then any surviving teammates can then revive them as if they had the card themselves. Now as for the respawn process itself, it's hard to say just how long it takes. This video we have here doesn't show the full duration. It only shows for 6 seconds and then it skips ahead. Now if I had to guess though, it looks to be anywhere from 10 to 15 seconds to activate the Reboot van. And of course, you're a sitting duck at that point as well. Anyone can cold cock you into oblivion. Once you activate the van itself though, the developers said a beacon as well as an audio cue will be set off, which of course informs nearby players to the reboot in progress and how many players will be arriving. Your dead teammates then will appear one by one on top of the van. Now in this clip they showcase, the audio cue is basically a blaring horn. Very similar to when you try and break a car for materials. What I don't see is how to tell how many people are getting spawned back in. I've watched this clip several times and I don't see any indication or any numbers displaying anywhere. But again, according to these developers, there's some kind of indicator that shows how many people are coming back. Now once you activate a Reboot van, no one can use it again for a duration of time. But they don't tell us this time frame either. So like I said earlier, this process is basically identical to the one in Apex Legends. You'll spawn in completely naked in Fortnite as well. Now in Apex Legends, coming back with nothing is a bit more painful since you have so many more inventory slots in that game. I've been respawned several times in that game and I've never really contributed to a win after it happens, because it's usually mid to late game at that point and having no inventory is brutal. In Fortnite though, it should be a little less forgiving, especially since you can build to defend yourself. Simply have your teammates share 1 or 2 weapons and some materials and it'll be like you never died. And that leads me to the next point to discuss. Is this going to be good for the game or not? On the bright side of things, everyone's been in a game where you or your teammate gets unlucky and you die immediately. At that point, you either have to sit and watch your friends play or you all just leave the match. Either way, it's not much fun. With this new system, at least you have an opportunity to come back and play again. However, on the opposite side of this, what's that going to do to the game? There's basically going to be no point in dying if you can just come back to life. Let's say you hit the snipe of a lifetime and you take out a Tfue equivalent player. Before the Reboot vans, you basically crippled that team and they'd likely lose. Now, however, Mr. Tfue can respawn in and potentially dominate the entire lobby. Like I said, in Apex Legends, it isn't that big of a deal since you can't build to defend yourself. But in this game, even if you come back buck naked, Tfue can still wipe the floor with you every day of the week and twice on Sunday with any weapon and just some materials. Now the other question is about the respawn itself. Is it possible to camp these Reboot vans and then just kill any enemies that spawn right away? Or is there going to be some kind of respawn protection? As far as I know in Apex Legends, there's no protection. If you see an enemy dropping back in, you can shoot him right away. So I'm not sure how it's going to play out in Fortnite, but imagine getting respawned in only to get sniped instantly as soon as you arrive. Not to mention you could rack up some extremely high kill games. For example, let's say you run into a newbie booby squad and you take out 3 of his teammates and leave 1 alive. You then can let him grab the Reboot cards and follow him to a Reboot van. He'll spawn all 3 of his guys back in and then you can instantly kill all 4 of them this time. That's 7 kills instantly. I guess these vans will make you want to eliminate the entire squad right away this time, just so they can't use these respawn vans. So let me know in the comments what you guys think of this addition to the game. Are you excited these vans are coming, or are you worried about how it's going to change the flow of the game? I guess I need to test it out a few matches before I can form a solid opinion myself. But Fortnite plays completely different, with huge variations in skill level due to being able to build. So while it's not exactly a revert of the patch that took away siphoning of health, at least this update with the reboot vans is a step in the right direction.